Mic check, and we are live. Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon where you all happen to be in this fine world. I appreciate you dropping by and spending a little time with me. We are on the 9th episode of the Sunday afternoon sessions where we discuss Atlas Earth, what's been going on in Atlas Earth, what you've been up to. This is the first week of May, so I'm sure everybody has gotten dug into their May challenge ladder, so we can discuss that. I know I've kind of got off to a more casual start. I'm more than halfway through the challenge ladder, but I haven't jumped onto the buy parcels challenges yet. I'm trying to, due to the amount of time it'll take to travel over there where I'm going to buy parcels, I'm trying to pile up a lot of completed challenges so that whenever I get over there, maybe I can do the 1, 2, and 3 first 3 levels of buy parcels all at the same time. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm a little bit better than halfway complete with the challenge ladder, and I've been trying to burn through this one game, and we'll talk about that later. It's one of those bubble games, which I find pretty easy to burn through the levels, but there's just a ton of levels. And I've also been trying to take advantage of the current arcade bonus that's going on. So I'm trying to complete that. I'm on the very last level. It didn't give me a huge amount of Atlas bucks, but I wanted to try to take advantage of the arcade event going on. Plus, it's helped me with the first 2 levels of arcade games on the challenge ladder so much so far. So that's where I'm at. But hope everybody's got a good start off to their challenge ladder. And of course, the other big item, we have a new game that was put onto the events list, which is rock, paper, scissors, which people have been talking about. So we'll see how that goes. It is coming up. It seems to be more of just a luck-based game, just like standard playing rock, paper, scissors. But we'll see if they threw anything extra in there whenever it goes live. I'm just having a little bit of coffee. The original energy drink, and one of those things that I will admit that I'm, as a human being, I'm addicted to. I like drinking beer and whiskey, but I haven't drank beer or whiskey for 2 months now, but I can't do without my coffee. Okay, let's dive into the chat and see what's going on. I know Annalise said she was here, so welcome, Annalise. Thanks for dropping by, as always. Our good friend over on the Discord, the official Discord. She's a mod over there, and she answers some of the tricky questions on a daily basis that people have. I go into the same type of questions in the videos I do. I try to pick out kind of questions that either are very interesting to me or make me dig around, or, questions that are asked a lot from people. Like I did a video this past week that was covering the numbers behind the Explorer Club and the Challenge Ladder and how I made my decision. So hopefully, a lot of people who've been playing this for a while kind of know what I talk about. But, it's for new players, and it's kind of what we call evergreen content as YouTube creators, where once in a while, you do a lot of stuff that's daily updates and what's been going on in the game and news type events. But you need some videos out there that, provide some good solid information for people getting into the game and starting to play. So welcome, Annalise. Eric's here. Eric Wang, welcome to the show. Jersey Devil 22. You live in Jersey? A hockey fan? Good morning. Thanks for dropping by. Cerezi's here. Welcome. A channel member. Good to see that. Thanks for dropping by, Cerezi, and thanks for the support. Supreme Victory Studios is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Also, a good friend over on the Splinterlands shows that we do. Alex B's here. Any free giveaways today? I don't have anything to give away. Sorry. There's really no system in place currently in Atlas Earth where I can give things away. In the past, I did give away a coffee cup, but that was kind of like a remote. I had to go and ping the person and ask them for their address, and that's just kind of, personal information, stuff like that. I don't really like to do that. With that said, they are putting a system into place where we'll see. We don't have a whole lot of details on it, but there's a way in chat, this new chat system that they're going to come out with, that you can tip, quote unquote tip, and whether that's tips coming in for the content creators or whether it works both ways, I don't know. We'll see. And I know, Alex B, I know you like your giveaways. He's talking about that because I gave a couple packs away on my show yesterday dedicated to Splinterlands. So, and those were given to the channel. They didn't come out of my pocket. So I like to be very upfront about things coming into the channel. Like I always like to say, I'm not paid by Atlas Earth. I'm not part of the team. I'm just a guy with a gray beard that plays the game and thought it was interesting. So I started making YouTube videos about it. Okay, Brandon, Brandtastic is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. As always, Brandon brightens up the show. Alex B says, just messing with you, Bron. Stop playing Atlas. Get back on Splinterlands game. Well, I'm playing both. I'm trying to get my land in gear in Splinterlands and my land in gear in Atlas Earth because I need to go out and do my parcel purchases for this month. As you guys know, I talked about this last week. Oh, by the way, I passed over $300 this last week, which was kind of a big milestone for me as far as total earned. I think I'm about 200 of that is what I would consider profit. The rest has kind of went back into, it has went back into the game as far as monthly challenge ladder subscriptions. And also on a monthly basis, I do a couple of the rent to Atlas buck conversions because they're pretty heavily weighted with points. So the first couple I do. Don't get into deep, but that accounts for the other 100 of that. So, like I was talking about last week, my plan is I'm 100 away from being at the top of the 4% tier here in the U.S. So my plan is to go over and try to get at least the first three tiers or first three levels of buy parcel in the challenge ladder completed. Probably maybe later this afternoon or maybe tomorrow. Depends upon how things go. So yeah, and then that'll set me at the top of the 4% tier where I will be able to sit there and amass Atlas bucks for next month. Because I don't even have quite enough to do the 100 parcels this month. I'm at about 9,000 Atlas bucks, and obviously I need 10,000, but I'm working my way through there. That's my plan. I kind of like to move strategically. I got a lot of questions in this week after I did that video on the Explorer Club and stuff, so I might be digging into that a little bit further. I'm not a big I'm not one of those math guys like the Beer Money Engine guy is, Pharaoh Silver, but I do some math, and I like to base my decisions on, try to think that I'm making sound decisions when I talk about them. I try to do the math like 3 times just to make sure I'm doing it right, and even then sometimes I mess up. Okay, let's see here. Lady Sharon's here. Welcome, Sharon. Thanks for dropping by. Says, good morning. Update on the upgrade problem. In summary, they gave me Atlas bucks to buy a replacement. Don't know what happened. However, I tested, and I did not put one swamp on the other. I actually put it in. Okay, so Sharon was having a problem where she did an upgrade on an LPU and she thought, as of last week, we thought that she put it on top of another one and it wasted an upgrade. Either way, that's good to hear that they provided something to you. It's good to hear. Skip is here. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Alfie's back. Alfie Pashley, welcome. Thanks for spending some time here. Says, I have 60 parcels. And what is the break point in the next stage? Well, Alfie, you'd have to tell me where you live. What country do you live? Are you in the UK or where do you live? Because that is really what it depends upon. Brandon says, I know there are alcoholic energy drinks and you can try it if you want. Monster has the Beast. Yeah, to me, I never wanted to try that because that is two different types of drugs, and they are doing this in your body, and it doesn't make sense to me. It'll make you wish you didn't drink it. Okay, so you've got an upper and a downer, and you're putting them in the body at the same time. Now, you might not be old enough to remember this, but back in the 90s, a big popular drink was Red Bull and vodka. Okay. And that accomplished the same thing. I have one run-in with that drink, and it ended poorly. So I'm not drinking. I haven't. This is sidetrack. I haven't drank any alcohol for a while, just because basically I'm trying to lose some weight, right? And that's a precursor to snacking and stuff. So, but with that said, putting alcoholic energy drinks into my body is not going to happen, and I don't advise you all to. Pick one or the other and stick with it. Let's see here. Okay, so Alfie, I'm skipping down, but Alfie answered my question, says the UK. Okay, so let's, so Alfie, you can go over to the Atlas Earth website and click on the support tab there, and then you can go under this section. There's a frequently asked question: why do my ad boosts change, and how do I see my current boost rate? And what happens is, on this page you can see your tiers. Okay, so the UK falls under this tier, or this chart right here. And you can see that 60 is at the top of the first tier, obviously, which you said, which is your 20x boost, or 20 times boost. Now, the next tier you're concerned with is 100, okay? So I would also make sure that while you're sitting at 60, that you go ahead and at least get that first tier of badges, okay? Make sure you get your first badge, so you can start raking in that 5% boost. You can also check out Tasty Wallet's website, which I link in all, the comment, or not comments, but notes section of all my videos, because he has a reference to, depending upon where you live, what's the best thing to kind of do logically as you progress. But after 60, I would at least make sure that you have that 5% boost, and maybe get your badges for the 10% boost. That's where the decision's going to be there. But then your next tier is going to end at 100. So you would consider saving up to make that jump to at least your break-even point. You'd have to use the Atlas Earth calculator to see what your break-even point is, because everybody's numbers are a little bit different, but it's going to be around 90 or something like that. So you could save up and make that jump all the way to 100, or you could save up and make it to, your whatever your break-even point is, 90 or 92 or something like that, and then work your way up from there. But do consider the badges, especially if you're going to take a holiday this summer, and you're going to be in an area where you're not usually, because that's the best time to save, to pick up some extra badges to keep working on that. A lot of people who are just starting the game or relatively new don't give a lot of thought to the passport badges, but they do give you, so we talk about this in a number of different videos, but there's two types of boosts. There's your active boost, which you do by watching your 20-minute, well, that's not the 20-minute ads, but once an hour ads, the boost button at the top. And that is a much bigger boost, but it depends upon you actively watching your commercials every hour, right? Whereas your passport boost is a flat boost. So once you buy those badges and once you get your flat boost, it's on at all time. It's a much lower boost because it's a percentage boost instead of multiplier boost, but it still helps in the long run and over the big picture. So yeah, hope I answered your question there. Your next tier ends at 100, but do consider where you're standing with your badges, especially if you're going on holiday. That applies to everybody. The best time to buy badges is if you're going on vacation/holiday, and you're going to be outside of the area where you normally live, because as you go along in this game, one of the harder parts is coming up with new badges, because you buy the badges that are right around where you live, and you increasingly have to drive or travel outside of that area to get a new badge. Obviously, the maps being live on the website helps a lot. Before that, it was just like a guessing game. You're like, well, have I been in this town? Let's go over there and try to see if there's a badge over there. Okay, so I hope I answered your question, Alfie. Sharon says, on the latter, I'm struggling this month, going to place a bunch of parcels today, but unlocking the second tier tile place is way down the list. Took me forever to clear the first arcade tier as well. Let's do this and go to challenges. So this is where I'm sitting currently. Like I said, I've been trying to work through this bubble game, and I'm almost through it. But you can see we did one ant mission last night. We had dinner. I treated the girls to some sandwiches, and I have worked through the first two levels of arcade goal from that bubble game. Which is one of the types of games, because I've worked my way through like at least two other bubble games, but they're all basically the same. I find them relatively easy to do and plow through, but the hard part is where you just have so many. Like this last level required me from going from, or this last challenge, let me restate. This last level of the arcade awards for the game required 100 levels. Well, the second to last required 100 levels as well too. But I did my boost rent standard, a couple surveys, played bowling the other day. We probably got a game today. Did my first two levels of arcade goal, did a few surveys, that kind of thing. So nothing big, but I'm making steady progress. And I found that kind of feels a little bit more laid back this month, because I'm not, the first several months I played, I'm like, yeah, I got to get it done that first several days or whatever. And, in the big picture of things, there's no extra, there's nothing extra for completing your challenge ladder in a few days, right? Just as long as you have it completed within the month. Now, with that said, if they add something down the road that there's something beneficial to, like there's a placement system, who completes it first, then there that would be a different consideration, But and just for those interested, I'm gonna flip over. Oh, I need to do my 20-minute ad. I'm going to flip over. Yeah, the here in the States, we've got a few hours left of the reward boost for the arcade. But if you're interested, this is a pretty easy game, I would say. Like I said, the rewards are not huge. You have to play through a number of levels before, but they gradually level up. And like I said, I'm on the last level. I went from 100 to 200, got that, and then now I'm working on 300, and I'm like at 260 level or something like that. But it's a relatively easy game to plow through, if you like. Like I said, a lot of these games just come down to what games you either like to play or can stand to play. Some games I can't really stand much anymore, but I'm keeping my phone off screen with the ads because I've seen some issues where people who are playing games and ads pop up on a live stream or on a video, then there's some kind of legal issues going on and they get their videos pulled down. So whenever I run an ad and we're live here, I just pull it off screen. So I'm doing my 20-minute thing. Let's see what other people are saying. I know I've been rambling on, trying to answer a few questions. Maelstrom Doll. Maelstrom Doll. That's a new name. That's interesting. Thanks for dropping by. Hello. My financial journey says, man, that's a trip. My IRL name is Eric. I popped in and you said Eric is here. Thanks for dropping by. My financial journey. Good to see you as always. Stephen Donlin is here. Hey, thanks for spending some time here. Coley Poley's here. Besides, for the challenge ladder, is exchanging rent for Atlas bucks worth it? It goes down. If you're strictly free to play, a lot of those people would say no. With me, I would say if you are going to do it, the two best times to do it, the only time I do it is during the challenge ladder, really. Okay. But some people do save up. There's usually an event at the end of the month where you can get 33 to 1. That's the best time during the month to do it. And then there's an event at the very end of the year where you get 40. I think 40. Let me know if I'm wrong, Annalise, but I think it's 40 during the end of year event. But that's towards the very end of the year. We're talking Christmas break, right? Last couple days of the year. I would say my personal take is I don't use it. The only time I use it is to pass the challenge ladder rungs because it's pretty heavily weighted. You get a decent amount of points for spending like $1. You spend $1, you get 25 Atlas bucks out of it. And then the next rung is like $2 or $3. And it just really depends upon, you get Atlas bucks out of it, so it helps you. I don't consider it a waste. I consider there is better, my Atlas bucks that I'm bringing in as rent are better used for my challenge ladder subscription. And you can't directly, you can't just go in and spend rent for that. You do have to have a credit card for either of the subscriptions. But the way I do it is I'm here in the States. I remove most of my rent to my PayPal. I put that in my PayPal savings, which is drawing 4%, which is just a little bit, but it's better than none, right? So I'm earning a little bit of interest on that. And then at the end of the month, I remove $10 from my PayPal savings, and it goes back to my regular savings account at my regular bank to account for the $10 charge that goes on my charge card. That's the way I keep my numbers square in my head. It's just kind of the way my brain works. As far as you can see this number here on my phone here that says $310 earned. That's just what I've earned in rent over the last year, a little bit more than a year. That's not profit. I think my profit's at about $200, which is what my PayPal would indicate. So in long story short, yeah, it's worth it, but I think there are better usages of your rent than just conversions. Now, when we get towards the end of the month, the end of the year, the 40 to 1 is a good deal if you have, some money to go ahead and convert. The numbers completely are different at that point, 25 versus 40. So there's some people that save up a lot of money and do that 40 to 1 conversion at the end of the year and make a fair amount of Atlas bucks. But I did not, during that 40 to 1 event, I may have done a few dollars worth, but hopefully that helps out. Watch that last video I did a few days ago. It talks about the actual costs of subscribing to the various ways you can. I didn't cover the rent to Atlas buck conversion, but I covered the other ways where you can subscribe and basically what it comes down to, what you're paying per Atlas buck, and which comes out better. So, and I compare all that to just outright buying Atlas bucks in the shop. So. Skip says, hey, Bronze, how do I calculate the break-even point? I was confused watching the video for beer money. Okay, so I'm at 60 parcels in Canada. The best thing you can do is go to the Atlas Earth calculator. Put in, let's go ahead and let's just jump over here. Okay, so this is kind of the way I do. Oh, wow. This is way back on when I was doing that big video. But what you would do is you would put in your current situation here. Okay, you would put what your parcels, how many commons, rares, epics, and legendaries you have. You would make sure these numbers are correct as well. How many badges you have, how many days you have the boost. Also make sure your location is set correctly up here. You would change this over you would be global in the UK, okay? That would be under global. And what this is going to tell you is your average daily, hourly, yearly kind of profit, And then what you're going to do is you're going to come in here and you're going to do an average. And this is the way I do it. And, you know, so you're going from 60 to 100. You would probably start at about 90 and just put in, you know, maybe one legendary, a few epics, and the rest rares and commons. And just see where you can come out and where you would be making about the same as you were before you went over that 60 mark. Okay, because what you're going to notice is once you go, you know, these numbers are, you know, bad to look at. I was doing a video here a while back at one of the top players in the game, what his profits looked like or whatever he was making, right? So so you're going to look at, you know, you're going to start around the 90 mark by adding some parcels, adding some commons, some rares, and you're going to get up to the point where you're making the same before you crossed over that 60 mark. Because as soon as you cross over to 61, you're going to see your daily and monthly intake of money, your rent, go down. And what you're going to start doing is you're going to start adding parcels, and you're going to start seeing it going back up. And you want to hit that point at which you were making the same as you were at 60. And at that point, that's going to be your break-even point. A lot of this is just kind of guessing, but I'm going to tell you between 90 and 92 is your break-even point, somewhere in there, okay? So if you were going to do a tier jump from 60 to 100, I would go at least to 90. Okay, that's going to get you in the ballpark. Okay, but if you want to sit down and kind of figure out a little bit more in depth, use the Atlas Earth calculator. That's how I do it. I know there's probably better ways to do it, and I admittedly am not a mathematician. So, okay, let's see here. Okay, I hope that helps out, Skip. You would be in the same, also, you're in Canada, you'd be in the same thing, same section as the UK in whenever you, let's jump back over here, because Canada also falls under the global heading here. So when you use the AE calculator, make sure your location is set correctly because of the math involved. Okay. And this always jumps to the center. Once again, thanks everybody for joining. Appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. This is the 9th version of this episode on Sunday afternoon here on the Eastern Coast. I know it's different times around the world, but once again, I appreciate spending some time with me. Let's see. Idris Makadem is here. Welcome. Says hi everyone. French here, joining us from France. Well, thanks for dropping by. I know it's a bit later, around dinner time over there, so I appreciate everybody, France, Germany, all in that area of the world. I know I'm used to working with people around the world, so I know what goes on with trying to schedule meetings with people. I got people I work with in UK. I got people I work with over in India. I got people I work with in massively different parts of the world. So sometimes it can be really hard scheduling a meeting, getting something that aligns with there's always going to be somebody that is on the meeting that it's either really early or really late. So if you're in that situation, always try to remember that when you're having the meeting, and don't carry on and make the meeting longer than what it should be, because somebody's sitting there at 11 o'clock at night on a meeting. So oh well, that's just kind of a side tangent thought of mine. Andy Chen's here. Welcome, Andy. Thanks for dropping by. Good to see you. G Foster 22. Do you think anyone is going to pass Shaman 15 in the leaderboard anytime soon? I don't think so. But with that said, you know, we saw what happened last year. We didn't think what was going to happen last year towards the end of the year was going to happen. Let's take a look at the leaderboard here. Let's look at the world leaderboard. Okay, this is United States. This is all across the Atlas Earth. So we have Shaman 15 at 100, almost 119,000. The next contender, closest contender, is the King of Queens at almost 94,000, and Count Maximus at almost 80,000. And if you've seen some of my videos where I delve into, these higher people on the ladder, this is just huge amounts of money. And yeah, there's a lot to be said that once you get up so high and you get a number of mayorships, governorships, and in some cases presidents, or they call it different around the world. You start, there starts to be like this waterfall effect of Atlas bucks. You get more Atlas bucks coming in, so you can buy more parcels, right? So that's the whole goal, and spend less of your actual money. But I think it's fair to say that these people at the top of the leaderboard have spent a good deal of money in this game. So, and a lot of it would be guessing, on my part if I did it. But there is somewhat of a waterfall effect that you start bringing in. This was a question on one of my videos this last week. Somebody put, what I consider the end game here is starting to collect more mayorships, governorships, and presidentships, or whatever you want to call it, around the world. Because once you start climbing the ladder and you start gaining all these different, taking over different areas strategically, then you start your own little waterfall, right? And us at the bottom, I've got 2 mayorships and I just get a little bit of Atlas bucks, but it does help out, And let's just be real here. You're looking at areas that have higher travel, higher population density, because you're only going to be making Atlas bucks if people actually go through the area and buy badges. Okay, so do I think that anybody's going to overtake Shaman? No, I don't. But could the King of Queens get a plan in order, and or could Count Maximus do it? Yeah, but it would take a significant amount of money to do it. So yeah, it's just I can't wrap my head around paying that much money for what is in effect a game. And this is a current talking topic on a lot of my videos. I had somebody from Brazil, which I love Google Translate, because I can go in and I can convert, in this case, Portuguese to English, and see what their question is and give them an answer back in Portuguese. Love it. But their point was, I think it was something to the effect of, the company should give us a promise. I'm trying to remember, more of a legal promise that they are going to be in business for a certain amount of years, so we have something to base investment decisions on. And my reply is, and we've been talking about this. In fact, if you read through the terms of service, and if you're playing this game, I would encourage you to at least scroll through the terms of service. I've read it more heavily because I've done a few videos on it, but there is a part where they call out and say, hey, this is a game. In no uncertain terms, this is a game. This is not an investment. And I would like to point out that games go under all the time. It doesn't have to be a scam for the game just to quit, right? Or just for the company make a financial decision that it's no longer worth it to run the games. We've all probably played games over the years that have been turned off. EA Sports, has done that to a lot of games. They've bought them up okay, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a scam for the game company to just decide to stop producing the game, because at a certain point you got to decide, well, are the costs worth it and stuff. So I'm talking about this because this is a game. It's not an investment. Now, obviously, these guys at the top have treated it as an investment. That's their choice, right? We all can make our own personal choices on what you use your money for. But whenever I do my videos, I think I'm making a slow and methodical approach to the game. I'm getting ready to go to 1,100 parcels, currently sitting at 1,000. I haven't, other than my monthly subscription for the challenge ladder. I have not thrown money into the game to actual outright buy parcels. So I have nothing against it. Just as part of this channel, I'm just trying to put out as much information out there so that people that decide to play the game can go ahead and play it and make logical choices. Okay. And if you're joining us today and you have not played Atlas Earth and you want to, I've got a referral code in the notes of the video that you can click on the more information, and you can start using that code and get 200 free Atlas bucks at your 11th parcel. So shameless plug, but it's, if you're going to start playing anyway, you might as well get 200 free Atlas bucks. I get 100 of it as well. So that process has helped me over time as well. So okay, let's jump back into chat. Brandon says, are you a gym member? I am not. I have a very small gym downstairs, and I try to exercise in the morning when I first get up around 5:30, and get my blood pumping, do a little cardio, do a little weightlifting, stuff like that, do a little ab workout. I'm just making my best effort to be a healthy 54-year-old. Try to give myself a few extra years, if you will. Tim Bedward Jones says, it's not the alcohol that puts my weight on, it's the kebabs after. Yeah, I completely agree. I kind of alluded to that because, obviously alcohol is, we all know it's empty calories, but I mean, women look at the alcohol differently than men, I think, but I love a good, especially after a hard week, a good sit down with a good whiskey, whatever your favorite whiskey is. I'm partial to bourbon and Tennessee whiskey. If you're over in the UK, you may be partial to a Scotch or an Irish whiskey or something, whatever it may be. But that and a good Guinness. I love a good stout. The Guinness on the lighter side, and even a good heavy like breakfast stout. Love Founder's breakfast stout. One of my favorite desert island beers, but you could pretty much live on that. It's got so many calories you could actually live on it, like the old Belgian monks used to during certain periods of the year. Andy Chen says, might not, there's still a gap. Don't really know what he's referring to there. That's the problem when I take time to talk about different things. I get to somebody's comment and then I'm like, what was he talking about? Bolts 85's in the house. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by, Bolts. Always bringing some energy to the chat. Like I said, Bolts always drinks his energy drink, so I'm drinking the original energy drink, as far as I know, coffee. It also helps to wet my whistle once in a while when I'm talking so much. Andy says, I'm already at the tier 2, 15 times ad boost, and I'm owning 69 lands. Okay. Like I said, just use that tier chart that's available over on the Atlas Earth support site, and make logical choices for yourself. What I don't like to see is whenever I open Reddit and people who have started playing the game and just haven't done any research or anything into it, and they're like, a common question is, hey, why did my rent just go down? It's because they crossed a tier level and didn't really know what was going to happen and didn't have a strategy in place. So My Financial Journey says, just hit 9K Atlas bucks after saving for a couple months. Going to drop down 80 parcels later today, I think. Nice. Let us know how you did, how many legendaries you scooped. Brandon says, I leveled up in badges. I'm at badge level 3, 15%. Nice. Now I am making 70 cents a day. Nice. Like I said, this is all a progression, just a slow progression. Just on a day-to-day basis, just make a slow progression. I pulled my phone off because I was going to look at, I'm about halfway through level 3 on the badges, and I had stopped, for the first couple tiers, I had just stopped buying parcels and bought all badges, right? Well, this, now that we are getting badges for the monthly challenge ladder, I've stopped doing that. I'm just generally gradually accumulating them, and I will hit the next tier when I hit it. So much the better, right? And I'll buy a badge if I find myself in an area where there's a badge that I don't have, I'll just buy it. Like I said, I don't go on vacations very much, but if I did, back to one of my overall points is that I would save up and buy badges if you're going on vacation. So. Skip says, how do you even have 9,000 Atlas bucks? Well, it takes a while to save up, and it takes a lot of work. Like I said, you just got to stick to it. Do your 20-minute ads, do your surveys, play your games. I do basically everything. I get a decent amount of Atlas bucks off of using the AMP program. I use the AMP program at least once a week. Like I said before, I make heavy use of the 2 AMP providers that do 4-to-1 around me, which is a yogurt shop and a Salad Works. Last night we just had sandwiches from a sandwich shop, which were still good, even though they got our order wrong. But I only got 1-to-1 on that, which is better than nothing. I got about 40, 45 we spent on a meal for 3, so... But it all adds up. It's just like sticking with it, you know, and continuing to do everything on a daily basis. Meritois here, welcome. Or is that Toyos? Toyos. Whenever I see a name like that, I automatically kind of do the French sounding to it. Today is fishing. Got 215 Atlas bucks from that today. Nice. Thanks for dropping by. I probably have a fishing challenge up. Yeah, I still have the fishing challenge. The thing about the mini games is they don't give a whole lot of points because the company doesn't earn a whole lot of money off of them. I think at the new setup with the games where you're not paying and you're just watching ads, it sounds like they're still working with the numbers behind. And they've made the big change. You know, they made a big change after it first came out with the. It's all in flux now. But I like the fact that they took people's. A lot of people were. One of the main complaints was that, hey, I don't like paying the 2 Atlas bucks to enter. And they took that into account and they made change. Now you got people saying, well, hey, the pots went down. So I want to, you can't make everybody happy, right? So either way, I will do the fishing matches. I assume that I'll do the first and then I'll get the second level. Another change you'll see that happened this month is they upped the amount of wins you have to get for each challenge level, and I assume that's because of the new setup, because they need a little bit more ad revenue coming in to support this, so that's why they brought it up. That's, like I said, that's just my assumption. Brandon says, when you break tier, do you really lose money or you just prolong the cash out? They don't take money away from you, but what happens is the rent that you're earning goes down. So if you're earning $1 per day at your current tier level and then you cross over that, this is my example, okay? So whenever I broke the last tier, I was making $1.08 per day, and then I broke tier slightly and I went down to like 95 cents per day. So that's what I'm talking about when losing money. It's not like they actually take rent out of your pot. What you've earned is yours, right? It's just that you're actually earning less on an hourly basis or daily basis than what you were. That's what I'm referring to. So as long as we're on the same page there. Okay, let's jump back into the chat. I see Palmer Husky's here. Let's see here. Thanks for dropping by. Kind of got lost in chat. As always, I start talking and I get way behind in chat. Sorry about that. Christopher Marino's here. Welcome, Chris. I made it at the 900 points in the challenge ladder. Can't wait for the upgrade. Finally, a cool one, yeah. Annalise says, at Brandon, you don't lose money, but you would earn less daily. Yeah, exactly what I said. Meritois says, if you tier break without getting to the even point, you break even point, you lose money because the bonus, yeah, that's the point, to getting to at least the break even point. So you're not, so your rent that is incoming doesn't go down. My Financial Journey says, my big issue with the ads lately is that my phone will automatically open the app in the ad if I have it installed on my phone already. Really? I don't like the ads that, you know, I know what you're talking about, but I don't like the ads that automatically open Amazon and stuff. And just from a security standpoint, you know, I've worked in IT for years, and that is an indicator of, I'm not saying it's malware, but a lot of malware has that kind of activity, you know, so I don't like it, but I've just had to put up with it. Plus, you have to go into your browser on your phone every so often and close out 100 tabs or whatever. Brandon says, do you think it's worth putting an ad blocker on AE calculator? They're somewhat annoying. I wouldn't. If you're getting ads, I don't get ads on the AE calculator. I wouldn't block the ads. It's if he's got ads on there, that's the way he's supporting his website, and he's upkeeping the tool, and he's made the AE calculator. So watch the ads, or just don't watch them, or something or other. It brings him in a little bit of money for actually making the tool available to us, you know, because it's not free. I mean, he had to develop it, he has to upkeep it, and he has to pay to keep it live on the internet, you know, and there's a number of different prices involved. So I would say don't block it, because he's doing a good service for us players. Mel says, my phone had to be repaired, and I switched to a spare phone temporarily and used Atlas Earth on it. My arcade is now empty. I contacted support, but they told me to wait a few more days. Yeah, it's the arcade is, it's based upon phone to phone. So if you have an arcade game that you've been working through and you get a new phone, like in this case, if you download that arcade game again, your progress is not going to carry over. So you need to complete the game on the old phone. Now, with that said, you only want to play a game on, if you're working with multiple phones, you only want to have one phone that's live on the phone number. The other one has to be a dumb phone, so to speak, not active on cell service, so that you're just operating on Wi-Fi, and then you can go ahead and complete that game just on that old phone on your Wi-Fi. Okay, if it's broken, then you're up a creek, I guess. But I just wanted to make that clear, because you can play this game on multiple devices. You only want to be live on one at a time, and you only want to be live on a device that is active on a phone number, because your account is logged to a phone number, okay? And you don't want the game, if the game sees you logging into your account on multiple phone numbers, then it's going to detect suspicious activity and your account's going to get flagged, okay? So you can play on multiple devices, just not multiple active phone numbers, okay? So if you have multiple phones, you can complete that game and get your points on your old phone, as long as it's not your active phone and you're just using on Wi-Fi. Okay. So good luck, Mel. That was kind of a sidetrack on that, but good luck. Brandon says, since you're an iOS user, would you consider checking out Caden? If a cash out, I don't know what Caden is. He goes on to say, if I cash out via gift card, is it still taxable income? I'm not a tax advisor. I don't even pretend to be. I'm not even great at math. I've said that a dozen times. Before I do a video that involves math, I do it like several times just to make sure that I'm mostly going to be right. Yeah, in the U.S., and it just depends upon where you are in the world. Everybody has different tax laws. In the U.S., I've heard that any income needs to be reported, but everybody's in a different tax bracket and it has different tax situations. So I don't even want to talk about it, or I don't even pretend to be a master of the topic. So I would say, don't break the law. That's what I would say. And I would say, if you have further questions, talk to your tax preparer. Because sometimes I know, sometimes they might say, well, yeah, you could, but it's not going to make any difference. Or you don't have to because you don't do this. You don't file these forms or something like that. One of those technicalities. But if you have any questions, ask your tax man or woman. Annalise says $1 equals 40 Atlas bucks is never guaranteed, but if it happens, it will be at the end of the year. Yes. Nothing is guaranteed in life. So Palmer Husky says, at my financial journey, I'm having the same issue. I've heard that many of the game stores like Google Play and the Apple App Shop, that's against their terms of service. Well, I will say that there are a lot of differences between Google Play and the Apple App Shop. So I'm not going to pretend to know specific differences. I do know that Apple App Shop seems to be a little bit tougher to get an app into, kind of cross-referencing discussion on Splinterlands, which, well, we'll talk about that in the other live stream, because they have an app that's getting ready to go live too. Brandon says, if I were to have a lawn cutting business or side hustle and they were to pay me via PayPal, would you consider it deviant to use the money to buy Atlas bucks to buy their property on Atlas? No, all's fair in love and Atlas Earth, right? I would consider that if you have a lawn cutting business, you definitely have to claim your income. Otherwise, you might find the IRS knocking on your door. Garnett Wilcox is here. Good day and happy Sunday to you as well. Thanks for spending some time with us. Mertois says you can also use the break-even chart in the calculator. Oh, nice. I didn't know they had a break-even chart. That's even handier. You just need to click the show button. Brandon says, I like to use Parcel app calculator. It's more simplified. Yeah, you were talking about that the last few times. It's a new app. Yep, 9 episodes. Time flies. I know I'm way behind, but I get off on a tangent. Palmer says, when I had breakdown or break even to still worry about, what I would do is hit my break even, and instead of jumping tier to tier, I'd just jump break even to break even, so I didn't have to worry about the teardrops at all. Good. But what he's referring to is the ultimate, I think what the ultimate goal is, especially if you live outside the United States. It's our goal too, but the ultimate goal is to hit that 2 times multiplier, because when we hit the 2 times multiplier, we're the same across the world. Okay. Now, you may argue, well, you get more Atlas bucks here in the States, and that's true because of the advertising rates. But outside of the States, we also have to buy a lot more parcels to get to that point. Anyway, my main point here is that at the two times multiplier here at the top of the game, whereas it takes us, 1,501 to hit the 2 times multiplier, around the world, it may take you 451 to hit that. But eventually, my main point is, in the 2 times multiplier, we all break even, or we're all even across the board. And I think that's the ultimate goal of playing, and everybody has different numbers in the chart. That's why you need to pay attention to the chart. But you also have far different numbers on actually making that 2 times multiplier, which I feel is really the ultimate goal if you're playing the game. Okay. Okay, let's see here. What's everybody saying? Garnet says, there seem to be several fellow Canadians today. I hope that they are all enjoying the game just as I am. I have been playing for about 3.5 months, currently have 185 parcels. Nice. Like I said, it's just a game of steady progress. Just do your daily stuff, and if you get burnout on one thing, try something else. Try a survey every day, or I try to make some progress in one of the games I'm trying to burn through on the arcade. Trying to make a little bit of progress every day, because some of them take quite a while to burn through, right? Try to take advantage of the events. Like now there's an arcade event going on, and I'm trying to get to the end of this game. After this show, I need to burn through some more bubble game, just to try to get that final payout before the event, and just try to take advantage, especially whatever you have at your disposal. It's just a game of steady progress. Do a little bit every day and make steady progress. Maelstrom Doll says, how big a city to get a mayor? Well, if you want to check your cities, just go on the Atlas Earth, log into your Atlas Earth website, and you can scroll around. It should start out wherever you are, wherever your house is, wherever you're at now. And you can scroll into the map, and you can see we're on Nashville now. Not that I live in Nashville, but I like to start out in different areas. And what you're looking for is the different lines. Let's scroll out. Now here that I'm talking about it, it's not going to do it right. Let's reload this. There are black lines on the map that present themselves. Let's scroll to somewhere else. Why are these not loading in? This map does this once in a while. Let me log out. If it sits for a while, if the map sits for a while, then you have to log out and log back in to get it to load correctly. At least that's what I've found. If it'll load for me. Okay. Okay, where are we at here? Okay, we're over Richmond, Virginia. So here we can see our tier, or everybody's parcels, and here's where you see the black line that indicates you want to look on your map around your area, and you're going to look for these black lines. And then like this black line separates out Richmond, Virginia. Okay, and you can see right here in the middle of your screen that this would count for the mayor of Richmond, Virginia. Now, if you went outside of this line here, and these people that live here or whoever bought, hey, they got some cool parcel art. It looks like a fly or something or other. Either way, those people's, most of their parcels count for Montrose, Virginia, the mayor. And you can keep scrolling around, and these people over here, these parcels count for Henrico County. So use the map, scroll around, and when you're over an area you want to see the details about the mayor and what you're referring to, you look up to the top center, and you know that these parcels count for Henrico County, wherever you're at. So Mirtois says, just look at Rainbow Ultra, how many counties he has. He's been a top contender. He also sells cards on the store. Quite a lot. This is Rainbow Ultra's account. Not that we're picking on him, but he's the Prime Minister of Canada and England, the Chancellor of Germany. Also, I don't even know how you pronounce that. Tayo Seach of Ireland, the Premier of Ontario, and the Governor and Mayor of a bunch of different places. But like I said, that is the end game. As you climb the ladder and start getting more parcels, you stop just plopping them in one area, right? You want to secure your first mayorship, you decide upon that. And after you secure it well enough and have enough parcels in that area where you feel pretty safe and nobody's going to take it back from you, then you go and you look around the map for where the next logical place is. And then you start accumulating from there. And obviously he's on the top end of the game, so he has a lot of places. But my main point about starting to talk about that was as you go up in amount of parcels and start taking over this area, you have like a waterfall effect, lack of a better term, of Atlas bucks coming in on a daily and weekly basis that you can go ahead and start using to buy more parcels. And then it quickly becomes like what we were talking about. You're like, oh, I've got some Atlas bucks and I need to buy parcels. Where am I going to put them? So logical choice would be, well, you got to decide where you're going to take over mayor next. So we are coming to the top of the hour. We are at the top of the hour, and I know I didn't hit everybody's comments, but I want to say thank you for everybody dropping by. Appreciate it. Thank you for everybody continuing to watch my videos. Please leave a like on this live stream and also on my videos if you watch them and get some value out of them. Appreciate it. And please consider subscribing if you're not, because you know what? About 60% of the people that watch my videos on a weekly basis just aren't subscribed. Either way, I hope you have a great week, and I hope that you continue to fill out your challenge ladder in a good method, and you have great success this next couple weeks. Either way, hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy, and hey, I'll see you in Atlas Earth.